Okay, explain to my listeners why you're beaming, a great beaming smile over there in Nevada.
Well, the decision that came out this morning regarding the prior election and claiming that there is possible election interference, and this was dealing in the state of Georgia. That's where the question lies. Is he going to be guilty or is he going to be innocent? And so it was a unanimous decision. So I think it was a very strong message that they were sending, maybe even possibly to the Supreme Court justices, saying, we've got this. Keep it in the lower courts. You don't need to bother with this. And so if it does go and stay in the lower courts and he's found guilty and convicted, and if he becomes president, he cannot pardon himself at the state level. So that's where he wants to try to avoid at all costs.
Amy, where does this leave his campaign?
Well, it's still going to lead him in the area where his devoted followers believe that he is being politically persecuted at every turn. They still believe that he is a martyr of sorts. And they also believe that if they can do it to him, they too can be put into this type of scenario. There's really no personal responsibility or accountability. Last night's fundraising email blast from his campaign, the subject line was, "I'm your retribution."
Right, so that is the man who would be president. Before I let you go, Amy, the man who is president. Now, the first of his two most recent gaffes came when he was speaking to hospitality workers in Las Vegas on the weekend. Joe Biden telling an anecdote about the G7 summit in 2021, but appeared to get confused about the identity of one of his fellow world leaders.
I was in the south of England, and I sat down and I said, "America's back." And Mitterrand from France, looked at me and said, "You know, why? How long are you back for?"
Okay, so Mitterrand's been dead for 25 years when that took place, and of course he was the French president. And then even worse, he appeared to forget the name of Hamas yesterday when giving an update on the possible hostage release deal.
There is some movement. And I don't want to, well, maybe choose my words. There's some movement. There's been a response from there's been a response from the opposition, but yes, I'm sorry, from Hamas.
Amy, there are hundreds of millions of you Americans. Is that the best you can field, Biden v. Trump?
No, it's not. And that's why you will see here in the state of Nevada, third-party registration is soaring. And then second place is Democrats, trailing, and third are Republicans. People are really not happy with a possible rematch of these two older gentlemen. And they're not just older gentlemen because, let's face it, there are plenty of 75, 80-year-old, that are fully cognitive, could probably even run a marathon. But we're dealing with one gentleman who is incredibly toxic and narcissistic and continues to lie and manipulate. And then you have another individual who, as we just heard, is unraveling cognitively before our very eyes. And it's very sad, actually. And I think we're in a tough position over here in America between these two.